Okay guys, welcome back to another trade recap video where I will show you how I made a loss of around $1,150 trading S&P as well as my coming back to trading view. As you can see here, uh, on Thursday I made a profit of around $630, as you can see here. Initially $619 after the commission. Okay, and now today my account equity was up by 1,000 sorry, $1,200, and now again I am at break even only. So no need to worry about it. I'm still up $500 on my account. Okay, as you can see, close PNL is 42.50. It's just the dashboard is will update in few minutes or few hours, I guess. Okay, so basically I ended up trading a trade in wrong direction, or maybe very early today compared to what usually I do. Usually after the market opens, after a half an hour, or maybe after 40 or 45 minutes, I prefer to take a trade. But today I actually, the thing is, the bias was, I got a bit confused with the bias. That's why I ended up taking the first trade uh, in the very first 15 minutes after the market opened, and the second trade I took was against my bias. Okay, so yeah, coming back to the execution. Okay, so as you can see here, what happened on Saturday. Basically, this is 12:30 on Saturday, initially Friday. Okay, so uh, what market did is we left a huge 4-hour gap. Okay, I'll show you guys. See, this was a huge 4-hour gap which we filled on ES, but on Nasdaq we didn't fill this on, I guess, on Friday. Maybe this was on Friday or on or Thursday. Okay, so this was the gap we filled. See, as you can see here, from these highs to these highs, and on ES from these highs to these highs. So ES filled this gap on Friday at 12:30 p.m. Okay, according to IST, and ES filled this gap and Nasdaq didn't fill this gap. So this creates a bearish SMT divergence. Okay, and from there today the market opened and market was a kind of consolidating. As you can see, in the external trading hours it was consolidating. We formed a new weak gap which we filled on both of these pairs, both of these indexes. Okay, and basically today was London manipulation and New York continuation to the upside. As you can see, we swept both of these Asian lows on both of these pairs. Okay, and ES as well as on Nasdaq we swept Asian lows, London manipulation, and New York continuation. So New York was supposed to continue, and the same thing happened. But the thing is, what I thought is I gave preference to the 30-minute SMT compared to today's daily bias, and that made me lost around $1,150. So I know what mistakes I have made today, and I will overcome on that mistakes. Okay, coming back to the execution. Okay, yeah, coming back to the execution, what I thought is we have a high time frame, 30-minute, sorry, 1 hour SMT divergence. So we will target, up to these lows. So the market will open, we'll make manipulation, some sort of, we'll at least take out these highs on basically some low resistance highs, and we have stacked up low resistance liquidity pending to the downside. So the market will come out, the market will come to the downside and take out all of these take profits, and then you know if the market wants to move to the downside, then it can surely come down and complete the divergence, but it will take time. So what happened, my bias was bearish for today, but back in my mind I knew that we can be bullish today because of this London manipulation and New York continuation. Okay, and the same happened, market opened. Okay, and from here, as you can see, we gave a good move to the upside. Okay, so a break of structure as well as inverse of this 5-minute FVG, making it an inverse fair value gap. So the bias was confirmed that we are going to move to the upside. But see, this was a really good move at the market open. Okay, and we, the leading index on this 1 hour SMT was Nasdaq, but we came up and we just disrespected this 1 hour SMT which I think if I would have knew this earlier, I would have taken a trade to the buy side. Okay, so this is no longer valid now. This bullish SMT, sorry, this bearish SMT is no longer valid. Okay, so what happened? We made a 5 minute manipulation to the downside here. Market opened, sweep out these lows, and we created a good 5 minute manipulation from these lows to these lows, and from these lows to these lows. So the leading index was Nasdaq. Okay, and we have some good uh, draws on liquidity to the upside. We have these 15-minute highs, these 15-minute highs, these hourly highs. Okay, but the thing is, what I thought today, that instead of the market, okay, making a huge move to the upside, you can see this is basically 100 points on ES. Okay, and okay, so see, the very first trade, as you can see here, I have taken longs here. I will tell you why. According to my confluence, see, we gave a big move to the upside. Okay, this was a higher low, higher high, higher low. We didn't break. Okay, we broke structure to the downside. So this is a lower low, lower high, lower low. Again, we broke structure to the upside. So according to my strategy and my confluences, okay, this was a perfect entry for me. But this was, very early, as you can see, 8:17 only. I guess, yeah, 8:17. So very early for me. I never take trades this early. So what happened? I lost around a $700 and $740 in this trade. Okay, and from there the market, came to the downside. Okay, because ES was Nasdaq was a leading index, and very close to these highs, our 15-minute highs. So I took a trade in Nasdaq. But what ES did, ES moved lower, even though I knew that we have a lot of liquidity pending to the downside for ES. And in the back of my mind, I really thought that we could make an SMT from these lows to these lows, and uh, these lows to these lows. But I ended up taking a trade, so that so this was a mistake which I did in the very first trade. So this was the first mistake which I made today. I didn't waited for proper setup and the price to develop itself. Okay, I rushed today actually, and as you can see, then after that, okay, Nasdaq gave us a good, perfect retrace to the downside, creating an SMT, and then playing out the daily bias. As you can see, the daily bias is still playing. And what made me enter this trade again? See, initially in the back of my mind, I was, considering this 1 hour bearish SMT, but even though I knew that this is no longer valid, but you know, still I ended up taking a trade today. Uh, you can call it a FOMO or whatever the thing is. Even though I knew I have entered, the market, actually I should have entered longs here. Okay, after this break of structure, so I would have easily captured, as you can see, a 20, 30, and still this trade should have been uh, continue going to the upside. Okay, but no worries, I know my mistake, I know my mistakes. Okay, and here again I entered after a break of structure to the downside. Market respected this FVG, again tapped this FVG, then from here we consolidated a bit, and then boom, IMISL got hit. In this trade I lost around $400. So now that this was the whole execution process and everything which I did today, and which made me loss around $1,200. Okay, so yeah, no worries. I know how to deal with losses, and I will come back with this loss also. I will see. The thing is, I was a bit confused with today's bias because there were two possible reasons for the market to move. The first possible reason was to play out this bullish SMT, okay, which is still the market is playing out, and I think this is the initial bias of today. And from tomorrow, I knew if there is a high time frame SMT and if the leading index comes up, okay, and disrespects that, uh, what do you call it, SMT, that SMT according to me is no longer valid until and unless all of my confluences are met. Okay, so now that I know everything is everything seems good right now. Okay, I should have waited pretty, pretty long enough for the price to develop and then to take good trades to the upside. But nevertheless, every day you don't have to repeat your mistakes again. Okay, and I think I should have waited for Nasdaq to give us a good retrace to the downside, because in the back of my mind, what I was thinking is the market will possibly come down and take out these lows, because these lows are much easier for the market in compared to moving 500 points to the upside and taking out these hourly highs. But see, you can just predict the market on your based on your analysis. The market moves where it wants to move. Okay, so yeah, this was today's execution and trade recap. If you guys like this video, then subscribe to my YouTube channel and become a part of my day trading journey. I will guys see you in my next video. Subscribe to my channel and trade your funded account seriously. Take care.